All right, cool, man, cool. Hey guys, it's Cam with Craft and Tailored, and this episode of What Is On My Wrist, we are talking about a Audemars Piguet Royal Oak 4100 ST, and this one has an insanely awesome tropical dial. The reason why I wanted to talk about the 4100 ST is because we've seen a lot of people asking for the 4100 series of Royal Oak. We've reviewed, the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak 5402 on the channel, and the 5402 is the jumbo. So if you want to learn a little bit more about the jumbo and kind of do a deeper dive into the history of the Royal Oak, we'll provide a link up in the description below or up in the, you know what I mean. You know what I mean? You watch YouTube videos, you know like how this works. There's gonna be a link somewhere, and if you wanna learn more about it, click it. It might be up here, it might be down there, might even be over here. Who knows at this point, all right? Quick history lesson. Royal Oak, released in 1971 by Gerald Genta. One of the first steel integrated sports watches that was oversized in 71. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the mid-size version of the Royal Oak, which is in the 4100 series. You know, these watches, I think watch trending as a whole is kind of moving away from the oversized stuff. Not saying that I don't like the 5402s or like the Patek 3700. I do. For me personally though, I actually like the 36 millimeter or the mid-size versions of these sports watches. And I think that trending is kind of dictating the same response from the collector community as a whole. Additionally, the Royal Oak 5402, whether it be in steel or in gold, is at a very high price point because of their limited production. Whereas the mid-size version, it was released much later. There is more of them available. And I think that the price point or the price of entry for a 36 millimeter Royal Oak or Nautilus or even an Aquanaut, you know, to talk about that, is much more accessible without losing a lot of the oomph and or pizzazz of the model itself. The first 4100 series of the Royal Oak, or the mid-size version of the Royal Oak, was released in 1976. And the 4100 series comes in, just like the jumbo version, yellow gold, steel, and in two-tone. Matter of fact, there's also a bunch of mid-size Royal Oaks that are made out of like really interesting materials. Tantalum, mixed metals, there's, you know, the mid-size Royal Oaks with complications. You can really go down a rabbit hole when it comes to the mid-size Royal Oaks for sure. To kind of draw attention back to this specific watch as it's kind of like the entry level or the most basic version, if I can say that, the 4100 ST, which this is, the ST stands for steel, as BA would stand for, you know, yellow gold, is powered by an automatic 2123 caliber movement, which is actually derived from the 888 caliber Jaeger-LeCoultre movement. So we see, again, kind of that like crossover collaboration between Jaeger-LeCoultre, Patek, and AP, just as we would with the Nautilus and the Royal Oak as well in the jumbo series. Well, the 4100 series of Royal Oaks is very close, without any doubt, to the 5402 version of the Royal Oak. Outside of the size and other things, the major difference, and one of the most notable differences, is that the AP logo is going to be located at the 12 o'clock position on the dial, and actually has a third hand. So it essentially has a sweep seconds hand, similar to what you would see in the Patek 3800 series of watches. Genta, in his initial designs of both the Nautilus and the Royal Oak, wanted to keep the watch very clean, and although it was an automatic watch, you lack the sweep seconds hands in those watches. It also has to do with the thickness of the watch in itself. In the 36 or in the mid-size versions of his designs, he, you know, there was a sweep seconds hand that was included. So that's basically the most notable difference outside of the size. The watch wears, I would say, larger than 36 millimeters or 37 millimeters. It depends on kind of how you want to wear it. It wears quite nice, and I think that's due in part to the watch being very thin and also kind of long. I think the integrated bracelet also makes the watch look and also feel larger than it actually is. So let's talk specifically about this example, which is a really stunning example. I think as it relates to tropical dials, you either love it or you hate it. The early references, whether it be a 5402 or 3700 or a 3800 or a 4100, what you'll see in the early examples is that the dials had a very light lacquer on the top surface of the dial. So a lot of them actually did go what we would consider tropical. This black kind of like anthracite factory finish, it actually faded out and it went kind of brown, or in some cases it just kind of, I don't know if it really disintegrated or if it just kind of went clear and it kind of exposes like the brass underplate of the dial, if that makes sense. So this specific example has this really awesome chocolatey, coppery, almost like a crema from an espresso dial. In some parts you can really see the brass of the dial kind of coming through, and then other parts it's kind of gray and kind of mottled, if that makes sense, but really cool dial and really striking when it's on the wrist. The other thing to note too is that the 4100 series of watches did not feature a screw down crown, making the watch not really like waterproof or water resistant, even though it was a sports watch. It has like a non-locking crown. The other thing too is very similar bracelet style. You have, kind of these blades, obviously integrated bracelet, and then, it pressure fits with a flip lock clasp, if that makes sense. This specific example is in insanely stunning condition. Really nice case geometry intact. Although the dial is brown, we see a lot of the factory finishing still present. The bracelet is still really, kind of nice and stacked. It's a really nice overall example. And although it is a mid-size watch, I really like it on the wrist. So really, really great example. I'll provide a link in the description below and above so that you can check this one out. The dial on this is just absolutely stunning. We often get watches in where I'm like, I need to add this to my personal collection. This is one I'm really trying to forget about because it's just so cool. And although the bracelet is a little bit larger, we've got full links in the bracelet, sized properly, I think this watch looks really nice on the wrist. I think this is a watch that I could see myself wearing for quite a long time. So overall, really, really nice watch. This one is in exceptional condition and I really like the tropical dial. I don't know, let us know what you guys think. Are you fans of tropical dials? Do you not like tropical dials? I personally like them. I think that a tropical dial makes a watch even more unique and kind of special. There's no two tropical dials that are alike, and I like patina and things, but some people I think view patina as damage or whatever. I think that it's a natural kind of known flaw within the lacquering of the dial, but it also presents itself in a very beautiful way with this kind of like brown coppery kind of feel. So really, really cool watch. Under ultraviolet light inspection, luminous material is still intact. So how does a tropical dial kind of come to be? Is it water damage? Maybe. Is it sunlight? Maybe. Is it just other environmental factors? Most likely, right? In any case, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this one. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you are not doing so already, check us out both on Instagram and TikTok at Craftin' Tailored. And if you've got watch questions, we are here and happy to help. Feel free to drop us a line at info@craftin'tailored.com. I will see you guys in the next one. Okay. An actual lawnmower.